Welcome to the A.D.H.Deep-Dive, the show that's not about ADHD but is filled with proof it exists. My name is David J. Mund. I'm an actor, director, cinematographer, and host of the A.D.H.Deep-Dive. And on today's episode, I have my friend Alex Dicicco. Alex works at a cannabis dispensary in Michigan where weed is recreationally legal at the state level. On this episode, we talk about our first experiences with weed, our mutual love of acting and storytelling, and we discuss our fears about leaving behind the 9-to-5 lifestyle in pursuit of a freelance career for something we're more passionate about. So thank you for tuning in to the A.D.H. Deep Dive. Let's dive in, shall we?
Oh yeah. Things we physically can't say.
Can't
say. Not like because we're in the pocket of Big Pharma.
Yeah, no.
Right? No.
Not that. Jeez.
So just because I guess we're already leaning into the pot conversation, what was the first time you ever smoked weed? Do you remember?
Oh, jeez.
Or age. We can at least go age.
I'm going to go the full story. I got taken advantage of.
Oh, no.
I got taken full advantage of as a child. I was 12 years old.
Whoa.
Yeah, my older brother, who was 4 years older than me, had his friends come over who were like 6 or 7 years older than me.
Yeah.
They came over, and I'm sitting in my living room waiting on my mom to get home. I was there by myself, 12 years old, no big deal, having fun. And they come in through the back door and they're like, "Hey, where's your brother?" And I was like, "Oh, he's not here right now." And they go, "Oh, it was back then. Not everybody had cell phones because I'm old."
Sure.
And
we definitely had MySpaces though.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, "All right, cool." I was like, "Yeah, he's gone." And then they left and they went outside. And they were out there for like 25 minutes. I seen they never pulled away. And then they came back inside. And they're like, "Hey, do you want to go two-tracking with us?" And I was like, "Two-tracking with the..."
My older brother and his friends? Yeah.
Right. I was like, "Oh, my brother." Not even with my brother. I was like, "Oh, my brother's friends? Like, yeah, dude, they're so cool." So I hop in the car with them. We're driving. And they're smoking cigarettes for one. And I got my shirt over my face. It's disgusting to me.
Did your parents smoke cigarettes?
Oh, yeah, and I hated it. I was like, "Oh, this is disgusting."
We'll come back to the cigarette conversation, but keep going.
Yeah, and we're driving down a back 2-track up in the Manton area, and they pulled over on the side, and I'm like, "What are we doing?" And they're like, "Oh, we're going to smoke a doobie." And I was like,
"What's
to
a
hell
doobie?
You are. I'm 12. I'm in the car, to heck with you. We're not doing this." And I'm like, they're like, "All right, well, you can either smoke this with us or get out." And I was
wow. You were literally... Now, what's your brother doing?
My brother's gone with his other friends. He's not with us. It's just me and their two friends.
Great.
Yeah. And we're sitting there, and I'm like, "All right." So I end up smoking the doobie with him. I was 12 years old. I'm not going to get left on the side of a 2-track, miles from my house.
Maybe I'm jumping the shark here, but did you get high your first time?
We smoked 2 doobies back to back. They made me hit it every time it came back to me. Made me inhale it. And I got so fucking baked. I was paranoid, having a panic attack. It turned me off from it. I get home. They bring me inside the house. My mother is home. My brother is home. I walk in. As soon as I walk in, behind his 2 friends, my brother sees those 2 and then looks at me and he starts laughing.
He knew.
In front of my mom.
Oh,
goes,
no.
"You're fucking high, aren't you?"
No.
My 16-year-old brother.
Was this a problem? Now, was it a problem that you were high? I mean, of course, you're 12.
My mom looks at me and she goes, "You're high." And I didn't want to give up my brother's friends because I
rat.
hung out with the old dudes,
Yeah,
like, "No, I'm not." And she's like, she comes up and smells me. She's, "Bullshit, you're not." I said, "They were smoking in the car." She's like, "So you got a contact buzz? You don't have a contact." And dude, my heart sunk. I lied to my mother. I ran into my bedroom and I literally closed the door and cried. I was terrified.
Amazing.
And it was great.
That's so wholesome.
Yeah.
Because yes, in theory, it's a traumatic, maybe traumatic is the wrong word, but it's a defining moment, right? Like, especially when you think all these years later, what, you're 30, 31, 32?
31.
Yeah,
31.
So this was nearly 20 years ago. And that moment directly correlates to the career you're in now.
It's insane.
Isn't that craziness?
It's insane, dude. And I didn't smoke again at all. I was terrified of it. Didn't smoke until I was 15 again. Once I turned 15 again. Well, once I turned 15.
It's like you
I didn't smoke
repeated
till I was 15 again. I was 30 years old.
You repeated a year in high school, which meant that you had to be 15 again.
Yes.
Okay, that joke fell flat. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay,
but
so
I was 15 and then smoked, and yeah, that's when I fell in love. It was game on from there.
I do have an interesting story, but it's not necessarily relevant in that just the first time I ever smoked, I was 13 and I did not get high. The first time I ever got high, I think I was 16 or 17, and I was with the band. I was with Live for Tomorrow, and we were at Nick's sister's house, which is irrelevant. The main point, just to fast forward through the stories, we were upstairs, and I got too high from a bong, mind you. It was the first time I had ever smoked a bong, and first time I'd ever gotten high was from a bong. And I just remember it being very difficult for me to go down the stairs. So I tried to like play it off like, look, guys, I'm too high to make it down the stairs, so I have to slide down on my butt. And so I just slid down on my butt because it legitimately was the only way that I could get down the stairs, because it was like doing one of these like warping things, you know what I mean? And
then vertigo.
Exactly. All I specifically remember is like looking at my hands and seeing that they're very tiny and making some comment about how, because at the time the Burger King Junior Whopper was a thing, and they had commercials about like, I've only got these tiny hands, and then they'd give him a Junior Whopper. That's the whole story. So we thought
the little tiny baby hands. I remember those.
Yeah. So we were just saying like, if only I had a Junior Whopper right now, the whole day.
Oh my!
But anyways, okay. So to actually bring
did you fall in love with it? Sorry, I'm gonna interrupt you. Did you fall in love with it then? Did you continue smoking, or did you get scared of it like me?
Well, the thing is, I did come home that day. Our practices were at our basement, or in the basement at my parents' house. So I had that same like, wow, this is fun, I'm with the dudes. And then I get home and I'm like, fuck. Like this is going on longer than I thought it would.
Now so it's real.
The first day, like, okay, let me put it this way. My parents probably would have cared if they knew. Hang on, sorry, my alarm just went off. My parents probably would have cared if they knew, but they were really cool. Like, they wouldn't have freaked out. They probably would have been like, yeah, next time you do something like that, just like let us know. Because at the time it was illegal and I was a minor. So I think the anxiety of that first experience made me stay away from it like regularly. But like with anything, whether you're drinking or with smoking, like, the gap between the next time you do it gets shorter and shorter and shorter.
Yes.
Whereas like, you know, the 3 years I went between smoking and then getting high, then it was like maybe a few months before the next time I got high, then a few weeks, then a few days, and then it was just like, now I got a fucking portable pen. I can just smoke it wherever I go. You know what I mean?
I've got a fucking e-nail hooked up to my dab rig. Like,
holy shit! I thought you said you had an email hooked up to your dab rig. I was like,
nail. Yeah.
Your dab rig is so connected to the internet that it has its own email.
It's great, dude. It's great. Yeah, if you want to email my dab rig, go ahead and do that at dabrig@email.com. Throw that out there.
I go by bongs.
Yeah, you can cash app the bong, the dab rig at my cash app if you'd like.
So I have to point this weed conversation in a general direction so we can actually include it in some sort of format. Yeah. One of the running themes that I've had so far is, you know, an initial conversation about like what it is that you do, and then kind of not the what was your dream job, because that's a hard question to ask, especially when you like think about when you're a kid, you want to do everything. It's like, I don't know what I want to do. And I know that with you, and especially, so I've had George on, you know, writer, screenwriter, comic book artist, director, photographer. I've had my buddy Pat on, who does prop restoration for like film props. I've had an acoustical consultant on. I've had an IT guy on.
Those guys are all way cooler than me.
Hold on. No. Stop it. Because every single one of them have said the exact same thing. Like, I really mean this. Like, one of my buddies, Zach, is an acoustical consultant, which basically means and I'm still so bad. I feel bad every time I talk about it because it's so intricate that it's still a little over my head, so I poorly explain it every time what it is that he does. But essentially, he works out in LA for big construction companies, and then once they have a room layout, he comes in and like figures out how they would soundproof it or make it like make the acoustics great for studio recording or for like just whatever. If it's like, you know, a crowd or a heavy metro area and there's an apartment complex, he makes it so that like this neighbor can't hear this neighbor through the walls. And he said the same thing. Like, he basically sold himself short via imposter syndrome, saying like, well, what I do is not that great. Stop it. Not on this podcast. Okay?
All right. You got
it. This podcast specifically is about tying the two together. All right? The dreams and why you're where you're at. So, skipping through some of the band stuff, because I think at least anybody who's coming to this episode initially probably knows that you're in a band. You've been a musician for a large majority of your life, correct?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But now you're leaning in a more, not creative, but a visual media direction. So you've got a camera in your hand a lot these days. Yes. Where did that, can you trace that back a little bit? Like, where did the visual performance come from?
Honestly, it all stemmed from one of my best friends, Dan, back in the day. Dan Mungar.
Who actually lives, Dan who?
Dan Mungar.
Oh, okay.
You don't know him. Yeah.
I thought you were saying Feaster, because he lives not far from me at all.
My buddy Dan, he is one of my best friends, just stood up in my wedding.
Congratulations, damn it.
Thank you, sir.
I haven't even seen you to your face. I know I saw the ring and I was like, all right. I haven't seen you. I've called you. We've spoken over the phone, but I've not seen you since the wedding. Congratulations, and I love you. But continue.
But Dan and I, back in the day, we just do all the time, had a camera. We would just make skits, do
like a little digital camera?
Little digital camera. We would do it on cell phone, like anything. Like back before like skits were a huge thing on the internet. Like we were doing that in 8th grade, you know.
Do you remember where you were you posting them anywhere or just making them?
No, we didn't have anything to post it on. Like we didn't even have MySpace yet. MySpace really didn't become a thing until we were in like 10th-ish grade.
Because I want to say YouTube was 2006. So if it was...
Yes, but YouTube wasn't like, you know, like wasn't like, oh, this is what you have to do type thing like it is now. Right. You know, it was just YouTube. Oh, a place to find videos. And like we didn't think of it. Like we were kids having fun. We weren't thinking about being seen. We were just having fun. Recording stuff. We would make stupid videos. There's one that we did to Dancing Queen by, I think, ABBA. We threw on wigs and stuff and we're singing and stuff. Yeah, stuff like that. And I still have some of the old videos. And from there, I just fell in love. And that's what we did constantly, nonstop. And then, you know, I started getting into, you know, dabbling with more video and stuff like that. And then I meet you. You know, you're one of the big inspirations to me as well. You know, we definitely meshed very well. You know,
yeah, we did.
Made some videos. We've done stuff creatively, you know, and just seeing you doing that as well, I was like, man, I want to do that.
Well, you're skipping some filler details, I think, though. You got into the live stream game for a little bit. Which you and Charlie did some which is just a mutual friend that we have in back up north. You guys did a lot of like I don't necessarily know that it was early to the game, but you capitalized on the live stream, everybody come watch us thing. So you were good at building an audience for yourself.
Yes, with Red Squared.
Yes.
Is what it is. Yes. And we, you know, we did that. But yeah, you know, I used to make just stupid videos even before Red Squared by myself, you know, post them on Facebook. I mean, that's how you and I really became close, you know, seeing each other's work on Facebook.
I met you. I think I met you at his house party where we played.
Oh my gosh, my old band played Little Sketchy.
That was the day, and maybe I'll beep these names, I'm not sure, but that was the day that and beat the fuck out of each other.
Yeah.
Were you there when that happened?
I wasn't there. I heard about that.
You heard about it.
We were gone. Yeah.
That was not fun to witness. That was the most bloody fight I've ever seen. That was a lot of blood.
That's fucking awesome, dude.
So crazy. But anyways, yeah. So we met when our bands were both playing the little local spot scene, just doing house parties and whatever. But yeah, throughout Facebook videos, I would see, especially when Vine was popping. I don't know
actually had a pretty big following on Vine.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I remember specifically the things I saw of you were, I don't remember if they were specifically Vine content, but it was short content.
Yes.
It was ahead of the curve when it comes to, the TikTok generation. Like, just you had an understanding that, like, maybe I can't execute this like 3-hour-long project, but I'm gonna make you laugh in under 30 seconds.
Yes.
So and you would put out a lot of that content constantly. And I think regularity really helps with building a following, even if like a video flops from time to time. Like, consistency is key. And that was one thing I always saw. Like, when I logged into my social media, you were at the top because you had just posted something. So now you're leaning in a more, you're not leaning in a more client direction, but now you're heading in a client-based direction.
Yes.
What has that been like? Because now you're dealing with your first clients where the idea is not yours. You are behind the camera right now. Yes,
it's been really good. I just started. I got my camera last year, I think. Last year before, something like that.
Let's see. You had to have had it when we did Hunting the Vlogger. So that would have been winter of 2021.
Yes.
So
yes. Yeah. It was going, and I just got the camera, and I had no intentions on doing anything like this, like taking pictures for people or, shooting videos for people. I was just getting a camera just strictly to have a camera because I wanted to start using one,
Right.
And from there, it just, transcended into now I'm taking photos of people. I'm doing senior pictures, weddings, I'm doing videos, and just that whole process has just been so, I don't know how to put it. Like, it's just been so awesome.
So with
just working with people,
with leaving names out, what's that been like? Because that's the biggest part for me, is like, I don't really like being behind the camera, but I love working with people instead of just working on my own thing.
I have just, me, I'm a very outgoing guy, and like just being able to work with some people that are even timid is like awesome for me, because I get to break them out of the shell, reassure them that they, they are somebody that people want to see, whether it's in a picture or if it's, on a video. And like, just having that alone is enough for me to want to keep pursuing this, because I know I'm helping people break out of their mold that they are thinking that they're stuck in.
So one of the things that I've noticed about myself, which I think that you could probably relate to, especially with the way that we started the podcast with you selling yourself short, we both have sales experience. So we can sell something for somebody else. Like, I can sell you a product. I can tell a great story about an item. Like, I can make you feel the way I feel about something. But when it comes to selling myself as a brand, I'm like, you could probably find somebody better. And it's like, no. I got to sell myself in the same way that I sell these other things. That I'm just trying to make a profit for myself, or I'm trying to put myself out there. I guess let me turn it into a question. Like, do you relate with that? And like, in what way? Like,
100%.
You feel the imposter syndrome?
Oh, absolutely. Especially when it's coming to this, because it's a new world for me. Like, musically, I feel like I'm finally, in a groove to where I'm confident enough in what we do as a unit to where I'm not afraid to approach anybody and be like, yo, we're going to come out and put on a fucking rock show for you.
That's how I feel.
We're going to have a great time. Like, music, I'm like, let's go. But if you would have asked me this about music 12 years ago, I would have been like, yo, I just played my first open mic in front of 12 people and shit my pants.
Yeah.
And like, with this, now that it's so new for me, it's like, I don't know, man. It's very weird. Like you're saying, the imposter syndrome is definitely a real thing, because it's like, I see how good my work is, not saying it's the best, but I see it and I'm like, man, I know it's pretty good for this area. It's really good for this area, I would say. And it's like,
I agree.
I just have the hardest time putting it out there and letting them know, like, I know what I'm about, you know. It's like, man,
Mhm.
like, and I'm always tiptoeing around giving people prices or quotes, and
Yeah,
like,
that's hard.
and that's the
That
hardest thing, you know. And I'm always like,
especially
yeah, you
not,
know, like,
sorry to interrupt, but especially not coming from money.
yeah,
When I'm dealing with
same,
people who also are like, you know, I can tell that there's not a lot of financial security there, and I'm having a conversation with them about spending, you know, a good amount of their savings account to shoot their wedding video, and I have to convince them in a way to be like, this is an investment in yourself, when I'm like, I can't convince myself to invest. I can't spend money anywhere. So like, I feel their pain when I'm telling them like,
right,
yeah, it costs this much. And they're like, it costs how much? I don't know if we can do that. You know?
yeah,
So just selling myself and being like, it's worth it feels bad when I feel like as a business, I'm exploiting people, because a lot of it's a game. It really
right,
is. You have to figure out the algorithm. You have to figure out the right sentences to say to the right people in the right order to make them feel like you're worth it. And sometimes you're like, I'm only saying this to your face because I need your money. Like, you know?
right. And the amount, people don't understand the amount of time and effort that really goes into it on the back end.
Oh man.
They only see you in the physical person. If you're showing up to do an hour shoot with them, or you're showing up and just
Yep.
shooting their wedding,
Yep.
they see you doing this with a camera, holding it, moving it around, taking
Yep.
video or taking picture. And they look at that like, whatever, they're taking pictures or just doing video, you know.
Well, and
That's
they know
biggest
the
thing.
end result.
Yes. And that's the biggest thing is like, you know, this last wedding I just shot.
Photos.
Photos, yes.
Okay.
I mean, the amount of hours I put in just to strictly editing those photos, you know, I did
Yeah,
it.
dude.
It was for my cousin, of course. So I did a
Sure.
little bit more than I should have, that I would normally do for a
Mhm.
normal client. You know, I
Yep.
edited almost every single picture I had, but you know, I had in a good week and a half's worth of hours into
Yep.
doing that. And that's on my time away from my 9 to 5,
Yep.
away from my band, you know, with what we're doing with that. And that's stressful, man. And people don't understand that. And then they're like, oh, this is cool, but hey, did you get this shot, or did you do? And I'm like, no, I didn't.
Welcome
You know?
to the hell.
Yes.
Which is why I will never, and I really mean this, I will never shoot photos for a wedding ever again. I like
Right.
shooting video because there really is that algorithm. There's the getting ready, there's the ceremony, there's the reception, there's the party. Like,
Yes.
so, and I just have to represent all that. If there's fun moments, I'll catch it and whatever. But frames, things that happened for a split second in time, you either get it or you don't.
Right.
And if you don't, you're fucked. And which is why I always I try to make a joke out of it, but I tell clients to their face, couples. I hate using the word clients, but it's true. They are a client of mine.
Yeah.
I tell couples, look, I know you're already going to be in love, and like it's going to be hard to like think about how you need to perform here. But when you kiss, I'm only asking, I'm going to direct one thing here. When you kiss, hold it for like 5 seconds if you can.
Right.
Like hold it for long enough that I can get it for video in slow-mo, and that it's not just and then over. Because if this happens and you, the photographer, miss that one split second in time, that's the most important shot of the whole day.
Yes.
And if you miss that, you're a waste of their money.
Mm-hmm.
And that has happened to me. And that conversation afterwards where you're like, hey, that really special thing that happened, I didn't get it.
Right.
And I can't blame them because I didn't warn them going in. It's my fault. And carrying that weight is so intimidating as a freelancer, because one review that goes public is like, this guy's a piece of shit. Suddenly all of the worst things I think about myself creatively are true and confirmed by somebody else.
Right. Right then and there, in front of your face.
Right.
And, you know, that's the thing, you know, like I was saying, you know, I've had, you know, a few people like, oh, did you get this? Did you get that? And I'm like, no, I didn't. You know,
No.
For one, I told you that it's poorly lit in here. I can get you a picture. Yeah, I have it if you would like it, but it's going to look like shit.
Yeah.
You know, like just stuff like that. And you can't control the elements either, you know?
Right.
And that's the biggest thing I try to tell people. I'm like, you know, we want really bright photos. And I'm like,
if it's not bright out, that's going to be very difficult.
What if it's raining? Yeah. Like, I'm like, I can't control the elements. That's one thing, you know, and one thing I need your help on is if the elements are controllable to help me out with that, you know. Tell the DJ. No,
or
just
you're saying,
general.
oh, I thought it was
in
like
general to the client. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, and it's like, you know, tell the DJ like, hey, you know, let's go have a conversation with the DJ. Like, hey, can I move these lights if I can, you know, to point down just so I can have some better lighting, this and that. Like, and some people are just so timid on that. They're like, it's like, hey, do you want the best product that I can give you or not? Because I need your help here as well, you know.
And there's also a weird onus too, where you're like, if those things don't exist, like if the DJ didn't bring lights or whatever, suddenly the expectations that were placed on you as the person with the camera, the client's like, well, I thought you had that covered. Like, I've seen your work.
Right.
And you're like, yeah, I'm only posting my best work.
Right.
You know?
You're not seeing the other 750 pictures I got for these people.
Exactly.
Know? You're seeing 4 that I posted.
Right. Well, and that's sort of the danger. That's the danger of social media, though, right? And not just on a business side, but on a personal side. I've gotten not over it, but I've gotten used to the idea of scrolling through social media and just saying, okay, this is fake. This is a lie. This is only one moment out of many. Like, I'm getting better at that. But when you see people like living their best lives, it's like they're only posting the best things. The moments in between suck, and they're not sharing those.
Yes.
You know? That one picture you post publicly on your Instagram from a wedding that you shot is one of thousands that you were like, I suck, I'm terrible, I'm the worst. I guess this one's usable, I'll share it.
Right, yeah. And dude, some of my best shots have been some that I looked at and I was like,
yeah,
I don't know about this, man. The angle's a little weird. And then next thing you know, I start doing some edits on it and I'm like, holy shit, this is actually an awesome picture. You know?
Well, that's the cool flip side of the imposter syndrome, is like it's the this too shall pass philosophy, in that, like, okay, you know what? Things are shitty right now, but this too shall pass. One day it'll be nice. I'll get better at this. I'll look at my work and I'll think I'm great. But on the flip side, it's like, wow, I'm great. I'm doing so well. I'm getting so good at this. And then one picture comes up and I'm like, oh no, I'm not, am I?
Yeah, no, like, I'm awful at this. What is
that moment? That moment seems to not go away, where you're like, I'm not good.
So as a creative guy, have you ever went out with a client, you know, did work for them or whatever, and you got home and you looked at the entire project and you're like, what the hell did I just do? Like, did I just waste time? You know? Yes.
Specific. Well, and that's where I don't feel necessarily comfortable saying this, because I know it'll get some flack from the editors, but like, that's where post-production comes in.
Yeah.
And I'm not very good with post-production. Being colorblind has a lot of detriment in that regard, that like, if it was too bright out, or, I mean, I guess that has less to do with color and more to do with just an understanding of light. But I'm getting better at faking it in the edit.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the beginning, like, I realized that my ISO was set to like 12,000 and everything's grainy as fuck. And I'm like, I couldn't see this through my little viewfinder. Every single photo is grainy as fuck. Or, I don't know if this is definitely the best medium to tell the story. I've already told you the story about the arranged marriage I didn't know I was shooting.
Yeah. Yep. You told me about that.
That's one of those where it's like, I shot the whole day and I was like, I felt bad for the cinematographer I was working with, because I was like, you have shit to edit. Like, there's no love here. There's no romance. Like, I did not give him good footage. And you just get home and you're like, you understand that it's like, okay, well, it was raining, or like the elements weren't right or whatever, but it doesn't help. You're still like, I'm a piece of shit. I'm garbage. I'm terrible at this. I've never been good. I'm faking it. And these people are going to know, and I'm finally going to be exposed. But then that doesn't really happen, does it? Like, you have I've had disagreements with clients at the end where it's like, well, we didn't really iron this out in the contract. I didn't tell you how long your video was going to be or how many photos you were going to get. So there's been disagreements. But what I have noticed is that my good is always good. There is something good consistently. And those little moments of like, I'm garbage, like, I might really feel those. Those feelings might be valid, but if I hang on to those, then I'm not going to work on the good stuff.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So, yes. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So what else have you done besides well, actually, let me ask you this. Are you focusing more on photos than video?
Currently, right now, it seems to be the case. I want to do more video stuff, but like I just have to dive into it a little more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I made that little music video I sent you that
Oh yeah.
that never got posted because it was just for fun, you know. And that was my first go with that, and I'm really going to start stepping into that world. I want to start. I don't know. I feel like video is more fun.
It is.
Personally, it's definitely more fun instead of, oh, stand this way, hold this pose, smile.
Yep.
Huh? It's like video. You're capturing them in their authentic state. You know,
Yep.
they are
Yep.
who they are during video, as opposed to, oh, stand like this, put your hand in your pocket, here, do this uncomfortable pose, smile. I know
Yep.
you're really sick of me. We've been doing this for an hour.
Yep.
But I'm going to need you just to hold in there a little longer. Oh,
Yep.
you need another
That
drink.
dialogue becomes a learned skill. Just
Yes.
like it's just like the bullshitting in between a sale. Like, I'm gonna make you feel good here, so you
Yeah.
you give me what I want.
Yeah, I mean, I just did senior pictures for my buddy's daughter. You know, that turned out really
They
nice.
they were really good, dude.
And you know, she's a very shy, timid kind of girl, you know, and she killed it. You know, I just had to keep reassuring her. At first she's like, I don't really know what to do. I'm like, you're not supposed to, you've never done this before.
Right.
And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, so just do what you think feels comfortable for you, and then I will direct you where to go from there.
Well, and one of the biggest things too is just talking, making them feel like we're not actually, like, yes, you're smiling and talking to me right now and you're posed, but you're pretend like I'm not even pushing this button. Like, just listen to the words I'm saying and respond to me. So I'll try to make them laugh, and I'll like try to have them say things that like elongate their face.
Yes.
You know, like it becomes part of you, where like they're not even thinking about what they're doing, and then at the end they're like, oh shit. And one of the biggest things I try to do for video is I'll come up to people and be like, okay, now what you're seeing here, like if I show them a shot, I'm like, what you're seeing here, okay, it's really flat, it's desaturated, it'll pop in the edit. If they like what they see here, they're gonna love what they see in the final edit, because I'm gonna make it look better and it's gonna be on a big screen.
Yeah.
So just giving them some initial confidence that like, oh, this dude knows what he's doing. Show them one good picture. Don't always be like, do you like it? Do you like it? Because they're going to be like, I don't like the way that I look here. If they have time to nitpick, they will. Don't even give them that opportunity. Give them one opportunity. Give yourself one opportunity to prove to them that you know what you're doing. You see one good picture and be like, you're going to love this, and show them. And then they're like, oh, okay, I can let go now. Like, I can now put my trust in this guy. That anxious feeling, though, it doesn't go away. Sorry, I interrupted you about your video pursuit. Like, where do you want to go with that?
I just want to keep grinding, dude, and just see where it takes me. You know, I would love to just start getting, you know, ultimately I don't want to keep working for the company I don't want to name. You know, love them. They've treated me well. I'm not downgrading them. You know, it's just, I want to be, I don't know, I'm not happy unless I'm being creative.
Yep.
That's ultimately what it comes down to. You know, my ultimate happiness is I have to be creative to be able to, you know, keep that happiness in line for myself. I have to be able to put myself out there, show off what I'm doing, and, you know, try to get, you know, some money ultimately at the end of the day out of it.
Well,
I'm done. And that's the biggest thing. That's the hardest thing.
That's the hardest thing to, again, I do a lot of projecting on this podcast so far, where like, if I hear something that sounds relevant to me, I will take it as my own. But like the money part has become, I don't want to say the saddest part, but it's become the most discouraging part, because I very quickly was like, so I got my camera during the pandemic with the stimulus checks. So I was laid off of work. I was working at the bank, so I was getting that plus up, whatever, and I used the stimulus check to get my camera equipment. So at that point, I was freelance. It wasn't like I gradually went into freelance. It was like, oh no, I have to make my own money because I don't have any other option. And then slowly the DoorDash opportunity opened up and the Shipped opportunity opened up, and I was able to do a little bit of delivery on the side. But because I got so used to it being my only source of income that I earned, when that income goes away for a short period of time, there's another gap of like, oh, it's not because it's a slow season. It's not because everybody's tough on money. It's because I'm terrible and nobody wants me. So like that, it's just
Feels.
that's sort of what it is. So my personal finances are now attached to my passion, and if I don't make enough money doing what I love, then I start to resent what it is that I'm doing that I love because it's not making me enough money, and then I get burned out and then I give up on it.
Yeah.
So do you ever have, you know what, let me actually rephrase. It seems like you are better suited already because you have started with a full-time job and pursued this financially as a secondary source of income that you happen to be passionate about. It's not directly tied to whether or not you get paid.
Yeah.
Sorry, long-winded way.
Yeah, I didn't even hear what you just said. I got to be honest.
Wow.
Yeah. Just that last bit. I heard everything else, but just that last little bit. I mentioned
this has been the
wife.
A.D.H. Deep Dive. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, that's me. I mean, I'm not diagnosed, but I'm sure I have it.
I'm just kidding.
But you were saying something about money.
Let me just summarize.
Hey, at least I'm honest. I didn't fucking.
You're right. That hour-long rant that I just went in, I can probably concise down to about 30 seconds. How do I even say it again?
You were saying creatively.
All I really mean,
if I remember, this is what I heard. Let's go off track.
This
is what I heard. So you were saying, let's put it through what I heard through texting my wife and saying, "Hey, can you turn down the TV a touch because it's right over here." That's why I was like, "Hey, I heard explosions."
Well, it wasn't you were just ignoring me. It was that
no, I heard loud cinematic music there for a moment. Like, I mean, what you were saying with that music in the background sounded epic, though. I will say that.
I'm sure.
But you were saying, were you just saying something about like creatively, your finances fall on how much money you are making ultimately, right?
Basically, I'm just saying it's really stressful.
Yes. To
have my main source of income be my passion, because then if I'm not making money, then I'm not creating. Yes. And then I'm not fulfilled, and I don't have any money.
And that is what scares the hell out of me, Dave.
It's terrifying.
I'm gonna look at the camera.
Please.
It scares the hell out of me.
That's the thumbnail.
But yeah, I mean, because like I know that's this next step that I'm gonna have to take eventually.
Eventually,
within, it's not gonna be a super fast path. It's not gonna be something that happens overnight.
No,
I have to take my time. I have I'm hoping in 2 years I can ultimately do what I want creatively through, using the camera, whether it's photography, videography, making money there, as well as making money with the music side of things as well. And I have
that is attainable.
That, and it definitely is, because I feel like, especially with what I've done musically, I can, hop in and start making more money doing that, whether it's through even, solo stuff, solo acoustic gigs and all of that, making money throughout the week, and then really utilizing, a couple weekends throughout each month to use my camera as well.
Yep.
And I feel like it is obtainable. I just have to fucking do it. And that's where the imposter syndrome comes into play as well, that we always talk about, because it's like, man, can I do this? And then I lack the confidence, and then I end up taking a step back, and how it is.
Is it the client projects that you're more intimidated by, or the personal projects?
The client projects, I would
say.
Yeah.
Then is making it now. I'm just asking this out.
I just have to do more. It's all through practice. But that's ultimately what it is.
But do you? Because your personal projects are what you're ultimately most passionate about, right? You want to do some comedy sketches, and you want to do some music videos, and you want to get in the creative visual space. So the clients become less you become less desperate for the clients when you find the clients you'd prefer to work with. So over time, you're going to I don't mean to slander my early work, but my early work, actually, except for your video, because your music video was the first video I ever shot.
Yep.
The music video I shot for your band was the first, and it wasn't even, it was initially free, and then you guys tipped me afterwards. So it was it was an unpaid job. A lot of that takes up the first year. It's just unpaid shit. And a lot of my first year was like videos I was proud of, but for clients that I was like, you know, like I'm giving my best work to people that I felt like didn't mesh up with me creatively. I'm not trying to slander them in any way. It's just like, that's not the direction we were going. I was working with a lot of rappers, and that's just not where I wanted to be creatively.
Right.
So the clients were like, anything I can take. I'm still pretty much anything I can take, but one day you will find that niche where it's not like you don't have to work with brides and grooms if you don't want to. You don't have to work with companies and their marketing agencies to try to work on an idea and frame the shot up. One day you're going to be able to find the people you want to create for and be like, hey, I want to create something for you. And they'll be like, oh my God, please. Like, please do. So that fear will subside. It hasn't for me yet. I just know that it will. That's what they say. So I think.
But does it really, or are they bullshitting you? Because we're all humans at the end of the day. I'm sure all of us still have those doubts, even at the most professional level. You know.
Doubts, yes. But I think it's really important the way that we think about it. Now, I'm only saying this again. This is all just projection, and I'm just saying these things out loud without actually doing them. These are just things that I hear that I feel like I'm supposed to parrot. We're not supposed to feel comfortable all the time. No. Because then, like, I work my best when it's like last minute pressure or like the stakes are high. That's when I thrive. And if I'm always thriving, or if I'm always seeking that next paycheck or that next big video, that gives me incentive to keep going. Or if I feel like I'm a piece of shit, well then goddamn it, I need to fucking practice more so that like because it gets exhausting thinking you suck all the time. And one day you want to be like, you know what? Well, if I suck, then maybe I should fucking do something about it. And I'm going to try to get better. And then you have those moments where you're in the editing bay and you're like, damn, I really did get better. Maybe that moment goes away and you're living in the filth more. But every once in a while, whether it's every few weeks, every few months, or every few years that you feel good about yourself, that is evidence enough that like, oh, I guess it does get better. It gets easier, at least. And I refuse to believe anything else, because if I do, then I'm fucked. If I believe that one day that I'll never feel good about my art, then why would I keep going?
Right. But that's where I'm at with it. You know, there's so many things I've tried and just like, I'm not doing that anymore. Yeah. You know, whether it's different jobs or anything like that. Like if I don't like something, I'm not going to do it. You know, that's plain and simple. And with this new camera stuff, I love it, you know, and I can really see myself finding a career path with it. And that's ultimately what I'd like to do at the end of the day, you know, whether it's, like I said, whether it's music, doing stuff with music, or the camera, that's where I'm happy. And the personal stuff, as far as the personal stuff goes, like making my own sketch comedy skits and all of that, like I feel less pressure doing that than I do working with clients, because it's just me. At the end of the day, I'm putting that out for myself, you know, and people, if they hate on it, they hate on it. I don't care. I thought it was funny, you know, and that's the way I am when it comes to that stuff. I'm like, yeah, whatever, fuck off. But when it comes to client stuff, I'm like, fuck, I want this person to like it, and then I need the next person to like it, and I need that next person to like it in order to keep thriving and doing what I need to do to keep pursuing this and moving forward, you know? So I feel like the client stuff is way harder on me than it is for the personal stuff.
I feel totally...
Is it the same for you?
No, not at all. Because if a client comes to me, I'm like, fuck, at least I got a paycheck here. Like, at least I got money in my pocket. When I come out with my own project, I'm like, I'm so scared to do it, because I'm scared to literally just do it, because I'm like, as a freelancer, any time that is not spent trying to earn money is technically lost wages. So if I'm putting my own project out there, that means I have to assume that it is good enough to dedicate X amount of time and resources, because if it doesn't, well, then I wasted all of that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know. I have really bad, self-image issues. So like, when I put.
You look great, dude.
No, I don't mean body. I mean, I do have body dysmorphia. Which,
I was gonna say, I'm looking at your biceps right here, dude. You're all ripped out.
You like that shit?
Look at
like
you, David.
Holy shit! I've never even seen that, bro.
You see what I'm saying, dude?
I don't
Look
flex.
at you.
I don't flex on it.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, buddy.
Good,
thanks, man. But that's not what I meant. I just meant like, so like this particular lane I've headed in on my YouTube videos, like they're like these. I try to be inspirational where I feel like I have something to say. And maybe I do have something to say, but then when I put it out, I receive it as like, if somebody was telling me this, I just ignore it. Like, I'm annoyed with my own voice. Not like my literal voice, or I wouldn't be doing a podcast. I just mean like, what's this guy got to say? Like, come on, dude, you're just faking it. I see through me when I put the videos out. And so like.
We are our own worst critics, my friend.
I know, but that's why like the client projects are easier. Cause I'm like, if it's somebody else's face on there now, which is weird. Cause like I want to act ultimately, like I want to act or direct. I don't want to touch the fucking camera anymore, but I have to. It's a financial means to an end. Or it's a means to a financial end. But I just mean like one day I would like to be more on the creation side without holding the actual equipment. But for now, as I do it, it's like, okay, well, I'm giving this video to a client. I don't give a fuck. But when it's like, that's David's video. David made that for David. Suddenly the criticism of it hurts more. Even though the criticism doesn't really exist. Nobody really I don't have trolls yet. The only troll is me. But quick TO, dude, I have to pee so fucking bad. I've had to pee for like a half hour.
I need water.
Okay, let's pause. I'm still rolling.
Let's do that. Yeah, good. I'll be right back. I gotta pick my nose. Hopefully this isn't gonna be in it.
Just do it closer to the camera if we're gonna do it. Yeah. Oh my god. Oh. Yeah. Do you drink LaCroix?
Dude, my face. You see how red my face is?
I mean, not really. Actually, it looks kind of bluish.
Oh well, yeah. But you can tell there's a discolor. I went on a side-by-side all day yesterday.
What is a side-by-side?
Like one of those badass, like doom buggy looking things that run through the trails. They did the Lake City Fun Run yesterday, and my face is all windburnt.
Did you get high with your brother's friends?
No. I was high all day by myself and with Mara and getting drunk.
So
let's get back to it.
Let's point this back in a different direction. Okay. So I actually wrote a little
back.
Note. I wrote a little note. Oh no, you're good. I wrote a little note. It just says acting.
Yeah.
I think very early on, I don't know if you had the camera. I don't think you couldn't have had the camera yet. You didn't have the camera when I lived there. No, you did.
For a brief second, yes.
But like while I was shooting the Red Squared videos, you didn't have yours at the time. I was just shooting with.
No.
I think I had observed in you, and maybe I wanted to exploit it for my own gain, that like you had, whether it was acting chops or acting confidence, you could be fun on screen.
Thank you.
Has that ever been a goal for you, or is it just something that you've just fallen into from time to time?
I honestly love acting, and I need to pursue it more.
Yeah.
This honestly has been a goal of mine. I love it.
Let me interrupt. Is this acting, or is this just being on camera as Alex?
Being on camera as me, and acting, coming up with characters too, if I could. You know, I have some characters I do a lot, actually. I mean, you've hung out with me.
Oh yeah.
The voices and stuff that I do. And
can I just quickly, while you're telling the story, get your best Macho Man Randy Savage?
Oh God, I haven't done this in years. I don't even know if I can, man. You put me on the spot.
You damn right I did.
Oh, I don't even have sunglasses. I need sunglasses.
Hold on, I'll get the microphone ready for you.
Man.
All right, I'm gonna use my deodorant as a microphone. All right, Mr. Macho Man Randy Savage, you just squat out there with Hulk Hogan. He tried to put you in the
the what's his little? He tried to drop the leg on you, and what do you?
Oh yeah, Hulk Hogan. I'm here to tell you, the Macho Man Randy Savage has got a little something special for you, Hulkster. I'm gonna lift you up high above my head, Hulkster. I'm gonna put you down and drop the best elbow on you anybody's ever seen. Oh yeah.
Now, Mr. Savage, if you had to recommend a particular snack, what snack would you recommend?
I'd snap into a Slim Jim. Oh yeah.
All right, thank you.
I hope that's good. Isn't it good?
Scene.
Is it good?
That was great.
Is it a good impression?
I'm gonna put an artificial round of applause in there.
You may have to send that to me before you post that.
That'll be
rate that impression. I've never seen myself do it.
That'll be the teaser. I think it was this. That was the.
Anyways, acting. You didn't have like a drama or theater class in school, right?
I did. I did a performing arts class with Mrs. Whitmer.
Hold on. How old were you then?
My senior year of high school.
So you were in some sort of public, like, acting.
Yeah, but we just did a class and like performed as like juniors and seniors in front of like the 9th grade class.
Was it a play? Or what were you like, what?
So like she would assign assignments to us and we would all have to take, excuse me, we would have to come up with our own skits. You know, one of them was a Billie Jean, or you had to come up with a skit to a song. And one of them was a Billie Jean skit we did. Michael Jackson. It was me and a couple other students, and I was Michael Jackson. And I put on a fake paper nose over my nose.
Oh, no.
And I put on a black wig, and I had the bejeweled stuff on, and I was doing the best fat man Michael Jackson moves I could do. And at one point, we were singing about Billie Jean is not my lover, and it was like a Maury skit. Or it was, yeah. So
Billie Jean is not your lover.
Exactly, yeah. Stuff like that. And like at one point, the girl that was playing Billie Jean came up and ripped my fake paper nose off, and I was like, ah! And I ran out, and yeah, we won. Yeah, it was awesome, dude. I don't mean like it sounds weird, but
no, I mean
in school, I won every single award that you could win.
Well,
I won the best monologue, the best duo. I was best in the group, and then we'd also had one or best in like a group setting, you know, like our group won. Like I won that award as well, and then I also won best. It was improv like award thing, like with no dialogue, so it was strictly just acting and moving around.
Yeah. Especially if you do this, like you just did.
Yeah,
that's really like acting.
But it was cool. Like I had a blast doing it, you know, and yeah.
I think it's appropriate to include a clip of whatever the fucking video is that we shot. What's that video? Hunting a vlogger.
Good thing for me. Vloggers are particularly thick species.
Thick? Did you say thick?
This piece has extraordinary hearing, folks.
Did you say thick? Huh? Who are you? Subscribe! Subscribe!
No.
Yes. And for the concept, that wasn't the first time we worked together. No, because we had done the Red Squared stuff. But I just remember we went out into the woods and we were like, let's get some video of stuff. You know, like let's get some video of the trees. And then it was like, wouldn't this be a funny idea? And then
what happened was this, David.
Oh yeah. But that's exactly what I mean. We're like, I got really high, and then we went out into the woods with our cameras, and we're like, what could we get up to today? And then within an hour, we conceptualized and shot a 3.5 minute comedy sketch that holds up. It's still really funny.
It's hilarious.
And like, we didn't have any idea for it going in. We were just like, we thought we were gonna take photos of some snowflakes or something. So like
that's everything we've ever done, I feel like.
Okay, so I don't even mean just with weed. But when do you find yourself like, maybe this is too broad of a question or too woo-woo of a question, but like when are you most inspired? Like are there like elements that you have to put yourself in? Like I guess the trope is like, I gotta be listening to good music, I gotta be high, I gotta what, but like
Like when I'm most inspired when it comes to like acting.
I would say anything. Like, when do you thrive in a collaborative way? Do you see yourself as...
So first and foremost, when it comes to me and myself, I have to be alone to really have be the most inspired that I can possibly be.
Really?
If I'm alone by myself, I can come up with some really good stuff, you know what I mean? And like, but when it comes to a collaborative thing, like, I have to really mesh with that person. They have to understand me and my sense of humor. They have to have the same kind of characteristics that I do, and are, you know, want to do the same type of work. And if we can vibe and just laugh together and hang out, I'm inspired. You know, I want to work with you. And, you know, like with me and you, for instance, that's what happened with me and you. You know, we get together and we have the same sense of humor, and we really vibe, you know, and when we get cameras in our hands or something, it just turns into comedy gold sometimes. I mean, we were even doing that drama there for a moment. Remember?
I know. I still have the clip, and I still have the Google Docs file of our like concept or outline of the concept. We were calling it helping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to do that again.
Dude,
we need to do something. Let's do something.
That's exactly. Well, one of the things that I wanted to like workshop with you is just like a cool way to pull off making content in different cities. Like finding a way for me to film my shot, you to film your shot, and we like find a way to make something, and we're not together while we do it. Because like that's the hardest part. It's like, let's just get together, but I'm 2.5 hours away from you. You know, so it's like, it's not always the easiest thing to pull off on a work day, but if it's like, yeah, I'm free, like we can figure that is attainable. That is a thing that can be done.
I have an idea I'm writing down right now since you said that.
Very important. And writing it down is the biggest part.
It's gonna be good because I'm not gonna discuss it on here, and all my weed tins just fell over. Let me fix.
Yeah, you don't want to give it away. Somebody's gonna steal our idea.
Yeah. Okay, I'm writing it down.
No, so yes, there is a way for us. There is a way for us to continue to work together. One of the biggest things for me in the future is one day I would love to not necessarily run a production company. I mean, I would like to run the production company. I would like it to be my production company, but like, you know, I don't really like being a boss. Really, I just want to be able to give people creative positions that help them get paid.
Yes.
So like. There is a future where like the people in my past who were the like most creative influences like will be a part of that team, and I've always envisioned you being there in some capacity. So if you want to come work for Mund Media, the job is there one day. Yeah, we will work together. I really need to just exactly like you said. I need to just do it. I have so many scripts and so many ideas and so many like ambitions that I'm just like, yeah, but I don't have anybody to do it with. Like, let's just do it, right?
And that's the hardest part, though.
Is just do it.
Is just doing it.
Mm-hmm. Why is that?
Why is that?
Like, why?
I think it falls back to just being caught in the moment of when we do get inspired, you know? Just finding that perfect window of just being able to just do it and having the mindset to just do it.
Yeah.
I feel like us as humans, we're very forgetful, you know?
It's true.
And we'll think of something and, you know, thoughts go through and run past, you know? And
but also
we'll
like
something and then be like, yeah, I need to do that. And instead of just getting up and doing it, we won't write it down, for instance.
That's true.
And we'll just forget about it, you know? And that's what I do. I just store stuff and I'll put it in my phone and I'm like, oh, I don't have the time to do it. And I'll forget about it.
But even the ideas that like stick in our brain, the ones that we've been like, oh yeah, I've had this idea for months, or I've wanted to do this for years. Like this podcast. I've wanted to do this forever. Why have I just waited? Why have I waited?
Procrastination.
Yeah, but it's not. I don't even see it as procrastination because, like, if I was procrastinating, I'd be like, I'll do it another day. I'll do it another day.
Yeah.
But in my brain, I'm like, I'm like, why aren't I doing this today? Why aren't I doing this today? I'm just asking myself it rather than actively avoiding it. I don't get that. Like, with these, like, narrative films I have, like, I know the things I need to do to get started. And every single day I'm like, I should do that. Why don't I just do it?
Start scheduling it into your next day. Make a schedule.
Ugh.
I know, but do it. Tomorrow at 3, I am starting this project.
I've gotten better with routine, but schedule is hard. Like, I get up at the same time. I have mostly the same meal. I have my coffee at the same time. I go to work at the same time. I sit down.
Then let's not talk schedule. Let's talk about, okay, you have that routine, finding it's time just to squeeze that into your routine. Consider it part of your routine per project.
Don't give me your fucking good ideas, bro.
Hey!
Narrative projects especially, though. Like, I just have, like, that's what I want to do. I don't want to work on wedding videos or, I mean, music videos are good in that regard. That, like, that's where the mesh is of, like, I have this narrative idea. I'd like it to go into this music video. I think they would collaborate. But, like, I want to make films. I want to tell stories.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're comedy, sometimes they're dramas, but, like, I just want to do something. And the only narrative thing I've done is the video I shot with you.
Yep.
And my little basement short film. That's it. I don't know why. Why? Why is that?
I know. You have all of the means around you. Get a crew together and do something.
And they all say that they want to. Like, the people around me are like, yeah, let's just do it. But then it's me. I have to be the director, and I have to gather everybody together.
Yeah, somebody has to be in charge.
Yeah, I know. I don't like being in charge. I like being in charge because I'm a narcissist, but I don't like being responsible. I'm
just saying, man. I do the same shit, so I'm over here talking like, yeah, just do that. But no, I'm awful. I am the biggest procrastinator on the planet when it comes to doing stuff for myself.
I get it.
And then I'll do it last minute, and somehow I do it. I get it done somehow, some way.
Because we thrive under pressure. Like, if it's something I have to do, I'll do it. But it's a matter of convincing myself I have to do it. Like, because I don't have to make that short film. I don't have to make that new video. I really want to. But if...
So do it. Just do it!
You like that? You like that?
Look at you, dude. Beefy. Still doing the yoga?
Every day.
Yeah?
Every day. Not twice a day like I used to. Which I shouldn't beat myself up for that. Because, like, one day... doing yoga every single day is more than most. But now it's a lot of hot yoga. And hot yoga is fucking... It's a game changer, dude. Just sweating in there. Dripping sweat. Doing the same, like, deep breathing exercises I do.
Changes the game.
Changes the game.
Changes the game.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
I think we're about that point to end the podcast. Go ahead and hang out on the line. But I do want to have you back because it's easy to have you back. We can just talk all the time. I have like schedules. Well, I have a list of like a guest that I want in the future, but not a lot scheduled on the calendar. So whenever we have time to just do this or we want to talk about something creative, like my plan is to put this out every Monday. I've got 5 episodes ready to go. So this will hopefully be like early November that this one comes out. But in the meantime, is there anything that you'd like to plug? Like, do you want to plug your band? Do you want to plug any video projects? What do you want here? I'll be like Sean from Hot Ones. This camera, this camera, or this camera. Tell the people what you got going on in your life.
Once Upon a Bison. The band. Look us up.
The band. Yeah.
The band. Yeah. Once Upon a Bison is our name. Psychedelic rock band. We don't have many songs out because we are still recording stuff. But look out for us. Michigan. We've been playing. Just, you know.
Can I Vogue at your shows?
We're all right. Yeah, for sure. You're a Voguer.
All right.
Vogue. Hey. And as well as, I'm still thinking of a name.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that once the video shuts off.
For my photography business, but just look me up.
Yeah, Alex Dicicco.
Alexander is where you can find me.
Dicicco, Dicicco, or as my Australian Siri says,
Dicicco.
My Australian Siri says Alex Dicicco.
Yes.
But I won't.
Dicicco.
Dicicco.
Yes.
All right. I still have not figured out a proper way to end these podcasts, so I'll just say bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.